Alrighty, all this is just the next video for mirror trading, and I'm going to take you through some of the settings in mirror trading software. Um, you know, not all of them, but just take you through some that may have an application and explain a little bit more about those settings to you. Alrighty, I haven't used this for a little while, but I'll work my way through these settings and show you a couple that may have an application depending on how you want to do it. Now, if you use all default settings, it's going to copy the trade from my master account to your account and adjust the lot size so that you assume the same risk that I do. So if I have a $1,000 account, which is the one I am copying off, and it takes out a zero point 0.1 lot size trade on mine, and you have a $2,000 account, then it will take out a 0.2 lot size trade on your account. So double the size for double the account. And that's most, so default settings are fine. Now, just to go through the rest, obviously you need to connect to FutureFX copy on the Australian hub. You need to put in your FX Blue username and your FX Blue password. That was covered in the last video. Now, the next one here, Forex symbol suffix. Now, for example, if on my account, I'm trading Euro USD, but on your broker, it's not called Euro USD. It might be called Euro USD .A. And some brokers will do that depending on the sort of account you have with them. Then in here, you will have to add that. Or you may just have to do put in .A or something like that. Most of the time, though, all of the different Forex symbols, even if they've got a .A or a .xyz on the end, the mirror trading software should be able to allow for that. If not, if you receive a signal and it can't do it, you'll get a little pop-up window on your MT4 platform telling you of an error. And so the best way really is just to start with completely default settings and see if you get any errors or not. Also, let me know when you're all set up, and I'll let you know when the first trade gets taken out so that you know whether you should have received a signal or not. And then we'll know if it's not working. And if it's not, depending on the error, we'll sort it out and we'll have to adjust a couple of settings. But generally, default settings will be fine, especially on all Forex pairs. Indices are a different matter as they can have completely different symbols from one to another. And we can just type those in here into custom symbol mappings to sort it out if we need to. And as I come across different issues between different people, then I'll make more videos to just to talk through that particular issue. And I'll put all the videos for mirror trading on a playlist. So if you keep checking the playlist, you'll probably find new ones from time to time. Alrighty, so I'm going to skip most of all the settings. If you want to know more, just have a good look through the user guide itself. So you've got options. If you don't want to, if you only want to accept signals from me, whatever, during the daytime, during the nighttime, certain set hours while you're able to watch, then that's fine, and you can do that. But seeing that can have its own troubles though, because you might receive one of my trades but not the other, and then that might totally change the results between me and you. But if you just want to set times when you're able to watch it just while you're learning, then that's an option you have there. It's not something I recommend, but an option if you're just trying to learn. So you can set the minimum size lots and all of that. There might be a scenario where if you were trying to, so I'm sending from a $1,000 account. if you are sending from a much smaller account, only a $100 or $200 account, and I took out a very small size trade, then it might not be able to adjust it because it might want to take out a smaller than allowable lot size. So you can adjust those there. Let's go through a few more. Trade all orders at market. That by default is set at false. Which one we're up to? Okay, so this I have come across an issue with this one at times, particularly trading indices, whereas the price on one broker is a bit different to the price on another broker, and then therefore it can't open an order. So the market price on my broker might be, say, 500, and yours might be 499. So I can't open an order up at 500 because yours has already gone past that price. In which case you'll get some errors and maybe pending orders, which you shouldn't be getting. And that's one way to avoid that. You can turn that to true so that no matter what price your broker is at, when you receive the signal, it will take it out at market value. The downside of that is that if between mine taking out a trade and that, second or so before you receive the signal, if the market moves a long way, then your entry could be quite different to mine. And those sort of issues are why you want to try and stick with either the same broker as me. That would be preferable, but not going to happen, particularly for people in different locations. But a similar broker that has, similar pricing, similar spreads and all of that. And I will go through all the spreads on all the pairs I'll be trading. That'll be in another video though. But like anything else, this is something that would be good to practice on a demo account first, like anything, and just make sure you're getting the signals and they're sort of falling into place properly. Let me just work my way through some more here. This is an interesting one, which you won't be using though, but it's an invert trades. So all that means is that if I take out a buy order, it's going to place a sell order on yours and vice versa. And that comes in sort of actually handy if you want to use that yourself for different hedging strategies. One in particular that we use on prop firms. Some of them are pretty obvious. Lot sizings. Alrighty, so you can set a fixed lot size. I'm not recommending that because it will interfere with the way I trade, but use a risk factor of 1. So you're going to, if I place a trade with a 1% risk factor, it's going to place a trade in yours, adjust the lot sizing so that you also receive a 1% risk factor. This is something that at some stage you may want to change. You might want to go down to 0.5, so you're only assuming half the risk that I'm doing. Or you might want to put it up to 2, so you're doubling the risk that I'm assuming. That's something that some people will definitely want to play with, and there's no real downside to that. Round up to broker minimum. This is actually one that I would most likely say to put onto true, and that's actually if so I'm on a $1,000 account. If you're only on a $100 account, then it might want to assume the same risk. It might want to place a trade lower than 0.01, which is the broker minimum for is a broker minimum for basically all Forex pairs. So if it tries to do that, it will actually round it up to the broker minimum, which would be 0.01. This one's another one you can have a play with. It's if you find that quite often, and this is just going to change if you've got a different sized account to me, it's not going to be divisible by lot sizes perfectly, so that you always assume exactly the same risk as me. There'll be a little variance there. So if you want to err on the side of caution all the time and have the lot size round down, so it's always a little bit either the same as me or a little tiny bit less risk, then you can change that to two, to true, yeah. Okay, mirror stop loss and take profit changes. I would say put this one on false. All righty, so that's simply going to be when I place a take profit and a stop loss in my account. If it's on true, then it's going to put the stop loss and take profit onto your account. If your broker has a different spread to mine, there can be an issue with that because because of the spread, your trade may just hit a take profit or stop loss when mine doesn't. And if yours closes out at a different time to mine, we're going to end up with, potentially quite different results. So if you have it at false, the take profit and stop loss doesn't go through to your account. But as soon as my trade closes, it will also close your trade. The downside to changing it to false, though, is that if your MT4 isn't opened, isn't running, isn't connected to the internet, then it won't close the trade because it won't be able to receive my signal because your MT4 isn't active and connected. Whereas if it had have placed the stop loss and take profit on your account as well, it wouldn't matter if you didn't have internet connection or the MT4 open because the broker would already have that info and it would close that trade out when it hit the take profit or stop loss. But you can, if you wanted to use a different trailing stop to me, you can enter your own trailing stop here and things like that. You can sort of customize it to yourself. So you'll be automatically receiving the signals from me, but because of all these settings, it'll take a little bit to get your head around all of the settings, but you can also have your own overriding, bit of a manual oversight into it. So you can set minimum and maximum. So you might also tell it to, if you lose more than $100, it'll stop receiving signals and things like that as well. If you want to get more into that, I'll just say go to the user manual and go through that yourself. You can. This may have an actual use case for us. My account that I'm sending from has a 500 to 1 leverage. If you're trading 30 to 1 leverage, it's still going to work, but you won't be able to have as many trades open or as many pairs open, or as many trades open. So you can, set the maximum number of trades you're going to let it open. That may have a use case there. Up further, I'll show you again just before I close out this video. There's an option there where you can enter the pairs that you want to receive signals from. So I might be sending signals on 10 different pairs. I won't be at this stage, but 10 different pairs. But you might just say you just want gold and Aussie yen pairs. That's the only signals you receive. So any other signals that come through, it's going to ignore them and just trade those two pairs. That would be a good way if you had a much smaller leverage than me, you could limit it to just one trading one pair or two pairs. That way you're not going to end up with too many trades and miss out on trades because you don't have enough margin left. And you can set the max trades per day, as I was saying, max losing trades per day, all that sort of stuff. You can set alerts. Not just there though. Here you go. So you can set alerts. So when there's a new order, you can have an alert come on the screen. You can have the alert through a pop-up box on the screen. You can have the alert via an email. Same with closed orders. And you can also connect it up to the MT4 app on your phone not through these settings, just through the MT4 tools, so that you get notifications on your phone as well. Um, Alrighty, so that's all the settings that I can think of to talk about at the moment. But because there's so many settings, it can look a little confusing. Um, but you can just go with completely default orders. Um, the main one that you might want to use though is all those couple I just talked about, but you might want to permitted symbols. So if you only wanted to take out if you only wanted to copy my gold trades, then you would just put that in there, and it's only going to copy gold trades. Um, the other one, and that would be useful if you had a much smaller leverage than me. And the other one was turning off the stop losses and take profits so that they don't get put onto yours. And that would be you would want to turn that to false if you had a quite a different spread to what my broker has. But I will do up another video and I'll show you the actual spreads that my broker uses. And if yours are different, then you'll definitely want to change the take profits and stop losses to false. Other than that, the risk factor, if you don't want to assume exactly the same risk as me, you can go less or more. Other than that, there really aren't too many really important settings there. But if I think of some more, I'll make another video. All right, guys, I hope that helps you a little bit. Talk to you later.